Uh, Hello and welcome. Good evening to you. We are back for round 5 of the AOR Formula Rookie Championship Season 2. We are live from Indianapolis. Uh, Obviously one of the it's not the I think they call Daytona the Great American Circuit. It's has the Great American Race of Daytona 500, but we are here on Indianapolis, another legendary racing facility in the United States. We are back with the Formula Rookie League. Mm, Well, I don't know how it is for you, but the main memory that comes to mind to me when I hear about Indy is is the flawed uh, one race from, I believe it was 2005. But hopefully no such scenes today. We have a fantastic grid of drivers, a really close championship. WMDR Martin leading right now, leading 13 points over Tony Clifton. Tony Clifton really unlucky in the last round of play, but he has decided to keep it going and will still contend for the championship. I want to do one thing and insert the championship standings for you to see. I know I could have done that before the stream started, but you know me, I usually take 5 minutes to get ready. And here are the standings. WMDR Martin leading Tony Clifton by 13 points, like I mentioned. Dudek the pole with quite a gap, 72 points to the leader right now, but I think he still has a fair chance to jump up in the standings. Definitely if the leaders are a bit unlucky. I am not that good with maps, and I didn't count it, so I think he still has a chance. But let's go back to the qualifying session. No time set yet, little over 12 minutes to go in the session. Why do you have dislikes disabled? It's not AOR, it's YouTube that has dislikes disabled. It's like a YouTube-wide thing now. I have no idea why have they done that. I think dislikes are a good indication, uh, both for the community and for the content creators. Because if the community sees that the video has many dislikes, then they will know that, I don't know, for example, the solution explained in the video does not work. And obviously comments can do that, but you can delete comments. You cannot delete dislikes, but well, YouTube has removed them now. So that's really unfortunate, but like I mentioned, it's not AR that has dislikes disabled. And we have our first times on the board. WMDR Martin sets provisional pole time with 139.2. Lord Arano follows with 139.3. GC Rider a little bit further, almost 7 tenths down, 39.9 in P3 right now. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a runny nose, but I hope that you don't mind. WMDR Martin, our championship leader. Tony Clifton, P2 in the standings, 4th on the grid right now. Almost a second of a gap to pole position right now. So hopefully our second place in the standings, Tony Clifton, picks up the pace. We want to see another great fight for the lead today. Maybe not as many shenanigans that end in crashes as we saw last round. Lord Arano will be crossing the line soon to start another lap. We'll see what his lap time will be. Let's go to the others. Too Fast hasn't started a lap yet. He's still sitting in the pits, over 5 minutes past in the session, and he still hasn't gone out. everything's alright with the stream. And also information from Stephen Carey, he couldn't make it for this round. He has possibly caught COVID, so he will be missing this round. Bad news, we have only 11 drivers and we have 16 in the standings. As you could have seen earlier, you can obviously see the standings as well on the Apex Online.racing site. I think the more the merrier, especially if you only have 11 drivers on the grid. So Kiss, I think we see Kiss for the first time yet. Let me see the standing. Well, I don't see Kiss in the standing. So I think it's his first time out on the circuit in this league. It's Jacob Fowler. Well, no, excuse me. He has made the grid in round 1 and once in round 4 on Zhuhai. He's sitting in pit end right now, 6 seconds off pole position time, which is 1:38.6 set by Lord I don't know right now. I will do one more thing. I want to find the track map for Indianapolis with corner names, but I can't find the corner names. Are there no corner names in Indianapolis? That sounds weird. I think Indianapolis does have track corner names, I mean. No, I can't find it. MotoGP at Indianapolis. Oh, that sounds interesting. But what? Let's actually go back to the action that's on circuit right now. 6 minutes to go in the session. Lord Arnaud still sitting on provisional pole. He crosses the line now to improve with a 1:38.4. And I don't know what's going on with this camera, but it looks quite weird. Whoa. Okay, we are back with another camera. Maybe that COVID announcement from Stephen Carey is just a fake to have time to play the new cars on Assetto Corsa Competizione, but I don't know. We would have to ask him. Personally, haven't bought the DLC and I don't really plan to. I don't race in any multi-class leagues and I don't really plan to. Obviously those multi-class lower class cars are fun, but to be honest, I would rather spend that money on iRacing. Arnaud doesn't look like it will improve on this lap. So let's drive around with another car that's to the pole, sitting in P5 right now. He and his teammate Kierownik having quite the unfortunate collision between teammates last time round on Silverstone. Hopefully no such occurrence today. 4.5 minutes to go. And it doesn't look like Dudek will improve either. Odd Padawan, or Tony Clifton as he is widely known, staying in P6 right now. The last car to dip into the 39th. It seems as he is quite slow on the circuit, for now at least. Maybe he's sandbagging, maybe he's doing the Mercedes strat. Maybe he will fire up his pace in the race. But it doesn't look good for him right now. 1.5 seconds almost. 1 second and 3/10 of pole position. And obviously, he would love to sit in that pole position spot to get as many points as possible to fight for the championship win. As WMDR Martin has taken the lead away from him last round. And the Belgian that we were talking about sitting in P2 right now. Oh, and there is a car off. I don't know who that is. Who is driving the red car? Well, I don't know. And Ticklish Pickle sitting in P4 right now. Well, he is not always the quickest driver, but very consistent, avoids incidents, and it pays off. A second place finish in the feature race on Silverstone for him. He has won the first the preseason round, the first race in the preseason round, but no official wins yet in the, let's say, Grand Prix rounds where we actually count points. And in the meantime, WMDR Martin sets a 138.1 to take pole position away from Dominooo. And the latter, the American, has 2 more minutes to go to set better time to possibly take pole position on his home soil. The only American on the grid. Sitting in the pits right now. Let's go aboard with GC Rider. The interesting thing is that on Indy, the timing boards actually work, and it looks really nice. Doesn't look like GC Rider will be improving his lap time. In the meantime, the pole invalidates his lap. Ticklish Pickle will be crossing the start-finish line. Let's see what time does he put on the board. That's 10 seconds off. So no lap time, no probably correct lap time set there. Too fast, still sitting in the pits. Doesn't qualify. It's no time left to set a lap time, so he'll be starting last, dead last, without a time set. And WMDR Mountain and Lord Dominooo will be bailing. They won't be trying to improve any further. Wonder why is that? Because I think they could have still made it for at least 1 lap. Oh, you have the dislike enable extension. What's happening with your cameras? Still rocking Project Cars 2. No, the devs won't pick up on Project Cars 2, sadly, where they are working on Project Cars 4 right now. Because, as we know, Project Cars 3 was a massive... Project Cars 3 was a massive fail. But since the top 2 currently doesn't go out on circuit to improve their lap times, as we have 10 seconds left in the session, let's drive aboard with Ticklish Pickle, our coordinator. And let's see, he crosses the start-finish line. Doesn't improve, actually doesn't keep his P4 position. Tony Clifton goes P4. And that's qualifying over. WMDR Martin takes pole position on Indianapolis. Lord Arano takes P2. We actually still have someone crossing the start finish line. That's GC Rider. but he doesn't improve. He keeps his P3 spot. Then we have Tony Clifton, ticklish Pickle. Actually, also let me check if there are no penalties. No, there are not. Dudek the Paul in P6. In the next row of the grid, it's Nidalap and Dudek's teammate Kirovnik. Then we have Paul, Kiss, and Too Fast. Rounds out the grid. So that's your grid rundown for the race. WMD Martin looking really strong to solidify his lead in the standings. Oh god, I have fallen by like 70 safety, 0.70 safety rating in iRacing. And it's really weird because like I was driving the IMSA race and on the first lap I think I got touched like 3 times by a possibly Russian car behind me. The surname sounded quite Russian. Or just a CIS country, I don't know, but like a Eastern guy. Maybe he had connection problems because iRacing mostly has American servers. And I also got contact points for netcode, so from netcode, so I had like 16 penalty points after the first lap, and you have 17 until a drive-through. So I finished with 20 penalty points because then I touched a car that spun in front of me. And I had to drive through, and now I've gone down by 0.70 safety rating with literally no fault of mine. So that's how our that's how our iRacing works. So ACC is much fairer in that regard, but well, ACC doesn't have as many circuits and cars, sadly. But let's go back to the Indianapolis race. Too Fast, having a really good look on what goes on the grid. On the last spot. Jess is responsible for like tweeting out the well, she's responsible for Twitter, but she hasn't tweeted this round. But anyway, 5 red lights are on, and we are underway for the sprint race on Indianapolis. And let's check what goes on the front of the grid. WMDR Martin goes to the inside, keeps his lead for now. Lord Arano is right behind him. GC Rider a little bit further, but it does look like WMDR Martin will keep his lead as we are coming into the first turn. Lord Aranoas goes wide and stays in P2. WMDR Martin keeps his lead. Very good start from the Belgian. As we continue down the grid, Tony Clifton overtakes GC Rider, who hasn't had that much strong of a start. Ticklish Pickle drops into P6. Dudek touches GC Rider and goes onto the grass. And will hit the wall. So Dudek the pole now in the wall on lap 1. Will drop to last. Too Fast. Great start. Jumped from P11 to P7 right now. As he has quite a big gap to P8 right now. But let's go back to the fight on the front of the pack. Tony Clifton jumps into P3. Back in the fight for the win. Lord Arano, another strong showing so far. Great qualifying, now drives in P2. WMD Martin keeps the lead, but only by 3/10. Let's see if Lord Arano can make a run on him on the start-finish straight. So they are crossing the last turn now. The gap is 3/10. Let's see if Lord Arano can chase down WMDR Martin with only the slipstream helping him. Tony Clifton half a second behind. And let's see now, Lord Arano gets closer and closer. Will take the outside for the first turn. Pulls alongside. And let's see now, WMDR Martin keeps the lead. Lord Arano still in second. But we also have Old Padawan right behind those two. So I have to keep an eye on him. All three drivers on the front within pretty much 1 second of each other. We could have a great fight for the win this time around. P4 7 seconds back, so wonder what happened there. Everyone's so far behind the leaders. And GC Rider and Kirovnik. Oh! And that's WM Martin going on the grass. He has to cut the corner. Let's see if he gets a penalty for that. Well, no penalty yet, but if he doesn't slow down, then I bet it is indeed a penalty. Lord Arano right behind him. Let's see if he will try to make a move into the right-hander. No is the answer. Oh, and Lord Arano goes wide. Old Padawan capitalizes on that and takes P2. It's P2 for the taking for him. Kirovnik out of the pits, 1 lap behind everyone pretty much. GC Rider already out of his pit stall, and Dudek the pole still getting fixed by his mechanics. Ooh. Another not quite clean start, but it doesn't keep us from having fights on the front, luckily. All three drivers still very close within each other. And well, the cars behind them quite slow right now. Paul 3 seconds slower than leader right now. So that's interesting. And let's see now. Old Padawan right behind WMBR Martin. Well, this sandbag theory has proved quite... it was quite right. Tony Clifton now goes for the move and takes the lead of the race. So he's taken the sandbags out of the car for the race. And now he's back in the lead, back in the championship fight. And Lord Arano calmly cruising behind those two. He doesn't want to fight, to squabble too much, but still has the pace to probably even win. As does WMD Martin and Tony Clifton. Let's check. It's actually not a penalty for WMDR Martin for that cut. But let's go on board with WMDR Martin. He pulls alongside, has a great run onto the start finish straight, and will try to make a move on Tony Clifton. Let's see it from his perspective, or maybe let's go trackside. And Tony Clifton keeps his lead, WMD Martin right on his gearbox. And Paul still right behind them. Actually, Lord Narano, sorry, Paul is 9 seconds back. Teklish Picklewickle not far behind them. WMD Martin tries to pull alongside once again, goes for the outside once again, and the old Padawan goes wide. WMD Martin still alongside for the next corner. They touch, but no damage from that possibly. It doesn't impact their fight. Bad exit for old Padawan, and that will be WMDR Martin taking the lead for now. And Lord Arno gets a run on old Padawan as well, and does so on WMDR Martin too. Will alongside, goes down the inside, and Tony Clifton, what a run from the corner. He took the corner wide, but had a great run, overtook both of them, gained so much time. So it's actually Tony Clifton in the lead right now. Lord Arno overtakes WMDR Martin. WMD Martin starting the last lap on third, on first position, drops to third. And it seems now as it looks like it's a fight between WMD Martin and Lord Arano right now. But WMD Martin gets such a slingshot run, won't try to make a move down the inside. goes quite slowly. Lord Arono goes wide in the first turn. And WMD Martin sits with the quickest lap time of the race right now, 38.1. That matches his the pole position time, which was also set by him. So no changes so far in the positions of the top three. Tony Kilton still leads. WMD Martin right behind Lord Arno, getting impatient behind him, tries to go for the move. They touch wheels and WMD Martin takes P2. Let's see what's going on in the back. Too fast up to P5. Paul dropped to 6th from the initial good start, as he was P4 at the start. Now, very close call right there. Ticklish Picklewickle goes up into P4. Great start and great run so far for Too Fast. He has started P11 without setting a lap time, now into P5. Back with the leaders, they have spread out quite a bit. Tony Clifton keeps his lead. WMD Martin second, Lord Aronos third. Let's check what's going on in the back. No fight so far. And Kiss with problems right now. Or was he just letting another car go? Hard to tell, as he has lost 18 seconds on that lap. I think that's problems for Kiss, as he seems to be going quite slowly. Rovnik running in P9 after that crash on lap 1 and Dudek in P11. So another bad day for 8 Stars Racing. Not good news for them in the terms of the championship standings, as they were still in the fight for P2 in the Constructors' Championship. And back in the front, WMD and Martin again right on the gearbox of Old Padawan. Actually going positive or going negative on the delta, excuse me. So it looks like he is trying to attempt setting another fastest lap of the race. Tony Clifton locks up the wheels, but keeps his spot going down the inside in the following corner. WMD and Martin dips on the grass. They go alongside for the start-finish straight. Lord Arnold dropped quite a bit. He's 3 seconds back. And now let's see who wins the drag race on the start-finish straight. It seems like Tony Clifton had the better run from the last turn, but WMD Martin has the inside for the corner. Let's see who comes out on top. And that is WMD Martin. He takes the lead of the race for now. So many lead changes so far in this race, and still 6 laps to go. Old Padawan doesn't have quite a good run from the first 2 corners. Almost half a second back right now, and Lord Arno keeps dropping. He is 4 seconds back right now. But anyway, back with the leaders. Seems like that. Oh, and WMD Martin spins. He manages to keep the car going, but loses the lead to Tony Clifton right now. Well, I didn't expect that. WMD Martin goes into the right-hander with quite the drift, but manages to keep it going. Very impressive, but WMD Martin, please don't repeat that. You're giving us heart attacks right there. Tony Clifton locks up again. I think you can already call that a signature trait of Tony Clifton. He is locking up quite a few times every race, each race. And about WMB Martin dropping a little bit right now. He was starting the lap as the leader. P2 right now, but only 4 tenths back behind the leader. It's still very close for the win. And Team Liquid is beating big on Mirage right now in ESL Pro League. And WFDR Martin getting ever closer. He will get the slipstream on the back straight, possibly will overtake the Hungarian. Let's see the slipstream, not as potent as he would have wanted. Goes around the outside. Tony Clifton goes deep into the turn. Let's see who comes out on top. They touch wheels. They keep going alongside for the next few corners. But Tony Clifton comes out on top for now. But WMDR Martin seems to have got the better run. Let's see how will it end in the next turn. Hopefully not end, but well, that battle in the war for the lead. We have a lapped car in front of them right now, going to cut some grass. I think that is Kiss. I wanted to say that's Rishi Rider, but that's not the case. And we are starting lap 9. WMDR Martin right behind. Old Padawan still. They are fighting for the lead tooth and nail. WMDR Martin goes round the outside, goes quite deep into the turn, and manages to overtake Tony Clifton. So another lead change in the race. And a little bit behind the fight. It's another fight. For P5, too fast takes P5 from Nidalab after Nidalab. Oh, and too fast dips his wheels on the grass, slides a little bit and gives the spot back to Nidalab actually. A little bit more in front. Ticklish Pickle called up to Lord Arono, and let's see now. He takes the spot away from him, so that's the Dane up into the podium. Lord Arono dropped quite a bit. He was fighting for the lead in the start of the race, now dropping into P4. He has dropped his pace quite a little bit, and Ticklish Pickle very quick, one of the quicker cars on track right now, 39.5 last lap. Only beaten by Nidalap with a 139.3. Obviously the fastest lap of the race overall is 138.1 by WMBR Martin, our current leader, as he is starting lap 10 right now. And Old Padawan still within a second behind him, but he is half a second back, so the slipstream not as strong. And WMBR Martin will keep the lead, at least for now. And the saga between Nidalap and Too Fast continues. Too Fast will have the inside for turn 1. Kiss goes into the pit lane. And Nidalap also getting overtaken by his teammate Paul. They touch wheels right now as they are crossing into turn 2. And Paul capitalizes on his teammate fighting with Too Fast. Takes the spot up into P6 right now. Let's see how is it in the front. Tony Clifton caught up to the back of WMDR Martin once again. Only 2 tenths separating them as they go into turn number 12. They both hit the curb slightly. WMDR Martin has the inside, goes a tiny bit wide. Possible that Tony Clifton will have a better exit as they are crossing turn 14 right now onto the start finish straight. We are starting lap 11, only 3 laps to go, and the fight for the lead is still on. Fight for the win still hot and burning. WMDR Martin goes defensive into turn 1, keeps the lead. Let's check what is going on with the fight for P5. Too Fast seems to have kept the spot on the last lap quite easily. The two green cars of the Bergera team not posing a challenge to him for now. So let's check out Padawan. He is pulling closer and closer on the back straight with the slipstream, goes round the outside, but doesn't make the move stick. WMDR Martin keeps the lead. So it's only a little bit over 2 laps to keep old Padawan behind for the Belgian. If he can manage to do that, he will extend his lead in the standings. Still a very close fight, 13 points. Remember, we have 50 points for the win, so it is a very close point system. Case goes on the grass once again. Let the two leaders go. Let's see it from Odd Padawan's perspective as we are entering the start-finish line. And starting lap 12 right now. So Paul actually managed to overtake Too Fast. Let's see how that fight is unfolding. Too Fast pulling alongside Paul right now, taking the inside for turn 1. We go alongside in the turn. Too Fast has a bit of a slide too early on the throttle and close, but no cigar. Paul keeps P5. Nidala pulled alongside him. No, that's not quite the case, but he will have a good run onto the back straight right now. Let's see if he can make the move here. Ever closer and closer. He tries to pull alongside, has the inside for the corner, prime spot to overtake his rival, and I think that's it, but Nidelap with not such a good exit. Too Fast still tries to take the spot back. Right on Nidelap's gearbox. Oh, and Too Fast touches Nidelap, goes onto the grass, and that is him almost in the wall. Very close call right there, and he will keep P7, I think. Goes quite slowly now. Wonder if he got damage, if he has touched the back of Nidelap, because he's going quite slowly right now. Well, I don't know what happened there, but it doesn't look good for Too Fast. He is going really slowly, and I think he's the last driver still on lap 12. So it's possible. Oh, he's back to his racing speed, luckily. And since that fight is a little bit already unfolded, Paul takes P5, Nidala P6, and Too Fast P7. Let's go back into the lead fight. WMDR Martin managed to pull 1 second out of the hat over Tony Clifton. And unless the Belgian makes any mistakes, I think it's the win cut out for him right now. Only a few more corners to go. Tony Clifton actually gains and gains and gains in those last few turns. WMDR Martin going really slowly. It gains the time back. They deal the better corners and the worse corners go equally to both drivers. And only turn 14 left to go. And I think Tony Clifton has no answer to that right now. WMDR Martin crosses onto the start-finish line, and he will take the victory in the sprint race. Goes into the wall, celebratory hit with the wall. Old Padawan takes second. Ticklish Bikuliko crossing the start-finish line. he rounds out the podium, finishes P3. Another great race for him. Lord Arno takes P4 after dropping back a little bit with the pace in the further stages of the race. Paul takes P5. Then we have Nidalap, too fast. Kirovnik still driving as he is one lap down. This rider already finished in P9. Dudek the pole. I think likewise. Oh no, it's actually 10:14 left to go for Dudek. He will finish P10, and Kiss will take P11. So that's race one done and dusted. Stay with us. We still have the feature race to go. And considering the amount of trackside action we had in this one, the second race can only be as interesting as the first one. So join me soon for race 2. We should be back in 5 to 10 minutes. But let's also see the official standings before we go. WMD Martin wins another race with Tony Clifton taking P2. Then we have English Picklewickle, the only American on the American circuit, Lord Arno in P4. Then we have Paul, Nidelap, and Too Fast, three Bajura drivers in P5, 6, and 7. Kirovnik takes P8. P9 goes to GC Rider, and Dudek the Pole is 10th. Kiss takes P11, and he rounds out the grid. So that is the sprint race done and dusted. Join me in 5-10 minutes for the feature race. Like I said, so much trackside action in race 1. Race 2 can only be better. So, see you in 10 minutes. And so we are back for the future race. We have sadly dropped one driver. I'm pretty sure that is Kiss. From what I know, from what Ticklish actually told us last week, he has quite an unpredictable uh work schedule, so he sadly probably had to either go to sleep or go to work. Uh there are things that are inevitable in life, and that is work, and that is taxes, that is death as well. So it seems that we are ready to go. Uh, Obviously, remember this race. We have a formation lap on the first lap of the actual racing game. And we have a reverse grid, so if my memory works alright, if my maths is correct, we will have WMDR Martin starting last. Since Kiss has DNF'd, we will have, I think Dudek will be starting first then. And that is indeed the case. Dudek takes um, the lead of the formation train, let's call it. Then we have GC Rider, then we have Kirovnik. Too Fast, Nidelap, Paul. Then we have Lord Arano, Ticklish. Then we have Tony Clifton, and then we have WMD Martin. The two, maybe some conversation going there between them if they can hear each other despite the helmets and despite the crowd cheering. Well, we obviously know that's not the case, but fun to have some role play picked in there. Dudek going quite a bit slowly with the train, obviously to let the other drivers catch up. Catch up. And sadly only 10 drivers this race, but I think we'll still have some fantastic racing in the front of the grid, especially if Dudek doesn't die this time around. Would be good if he would manage not to do so. Quite unlucky in the last few rounds. Hopefully can break this unlucky streak this time around. We are all formed up, all ready to start the race. We are crossing through turn 14 right now. Grid is ready and the grid is waiting for Dudek's call. A call to arms, call to race, and he goes for the early call. He already accelerates and we are underway. And let's see the run down into the first corner. Dudek first goes wide. Let's see if he can managed to keep it. That is the case indeed. Too Fast gets overtaken by Tony Clifton already. Tony up from P9 to P3, only only 2 turns in. That's amazing for him. GC Rider getting a run on Dudek. Not a good start from the Polish driver. Let's see if GC Rider can overtake him now on the back straight. The Brit goes around the outside. Let's see, and GC Rider can't take the lead. Tony Clifton right behind him has to brake not to crash into Tony Clifton. WMD Martin still last. Well, quite. Well, not the reverse of what Tony Clifton has done, but definitely a much worse start than his title rival. Only now takes P9 from Paul. Dudek manages to keep the lead as they are crossing turn 14. And it seems as we have a pack of 3 drivers fighting for the lead once again. Too Fast also joined the fight, but I'm not sure if he will have the pace to stay with the leaders later. Lord Arno heads into the pit lane. Bad news for him, he was obviously in the lead pack for most of the first race. So bad news for him. WMD Martin up into P7. And let's see GC Rider getting a run on Dudek the pole once again. This time could be the charm. Let's see, as they are braking into turn 7. Dudek actually gets a better run down the inside. GC Rider goes wide on the curb. And Tony Clifton overtakes him. Tony Clifton up into P2. GC Rider is still sliding. Too Fast also gains from that. Goes up into 3rd. Also had a run on Tony Clifton, but the Hungarian doesn't allow him to go down his inside. It's still 3 cars fighting for 4 cars actually fighting for the lead. That squabbling also allowed the pack behind them to catch up, which is obviously great. And GC Rider has caught the bollard between his wheels, and it looks quite funny. It's good that it doesn't obscure his view. WMD Martin in the meantime moves up to P6. Let's see GC Rider now crossing turn 1 as we are starting lap 4. Doesn't gain any positions. WMD Martin, despite that slow start, he gets ever closer to Tony Clifton, who actually has pretty much escaped now from the pack fighting for the lower podium positions. His task right now is to catch Dudek, and WMD Martin gains so much time due to the squabbling ahead of him. Let's see as he rounds down into turn 7. The bollard knocked off GC Rider's car. That was great to watch. WMD Martin touches Too Fast. That allows Ticklish Pickwickle to get closer to him. And, whoa, the pack is so close right now. All top 8 inside 4 seconds. WMD Martin still getting held up by Too Fast and Needle up ahead of him. Also his teammate GC Rider. Lord Arno has to pit once again. Also great start for Dudek. He started first, kept the lead. Now running away from Tony Clifton. Doesn't look like Tony has the pace to catch him up. And now we see the lap times. Dudek over 1 second quicker on the last lap than the Hungarian. Let's see now, WMD Martin trying to take the inside for turn 1. Oh, and he hits Niederlap, and Paul, Niederlap's teammate, hits him, and that's pretty much hopes for the win over for WMD Martin in the span of a few seconds. So WMD Martin drops into P8. He got almost killed by the Bajura sandwich. Wow. And yeah, it looks like heavy damage for WMD Martin. Very bad news for the Belgian. It looks like win hopes over for him. Oh, hits the wall right now. Car is a wreck right now. The suspension's out of alignment. No way to fight for the win now. He tried to be patient. He tried to approach this the slow way, but it didn't pay him off. It seems as Tony Clifton's method to go down the grid as fast as possible was more successful. But back into the podium fight. Ticklish Pickle Wickle, Too Fast, GC Rider and Tony Clifton fighting for P2 right now. Dudek the Poe running away with the win pretty much. But let's see as they start lap 6. WMD Martin trying to salvage the car, trying to go back to the pits on his own. He has entered the pit lane right now. Let's see now the run into turn 1. What a mess. 4 cars fighting for one piece of track. Surprisingly enough, Old Padawan still keeps P2. Excuse me that I use Old Padawan and Tony Clifton both to describe the same driver, but I just can't get used to one name. GC Rider trying to go around the outside once again. He tried twice on other drivers already, that didn't work for him, and third time is definitely not the charm for the Brit as he stays in P3. Too Fast and Ticklish Pickle followed them closely. Ticklish actually overtaking Too Fast for P4 in the meantime. WMD Martin still in the pits. Hopefully he doesn't lose that much time. Obviously we have a mandatory pit stop in this race, so that's that cleared for him, but probably too much damage to hope for going back on the lead lap. Too Fast goes on the grass. That allows Ticklish Pickle to actually overtake back. I believe Too Fast moved into 4th for a second. GC Rider getting a great run on Old Padawan. Let's see as the run down into turn 1. GC Rider takes the outside for turn 1. And he will stay behind Old Padawan. In the meantime, Paul also pits. I think that's not for damage. I think that's actually to clear the pit stop to get fuel in. Let's see, GC Rider now following Old Padawan right behind him. I think he could try to overtake him now if he takes the inside at the end of the back straight. We saw him trying the outside 3 times already, haven't proved successful for him. Tries to go around the outside once again. And Tony Clifton locks up, goes wide into the turn. GC Rider still alongside, has to let him go. Ticklish Pickle Wickle capitalizes on that right behind the 2 of them. GC Rider now pulls alongside Old Padawan around the outside once again. I don't know, somebody should probably tell him that the inside is the way to go. And they touch, and Old Padawan manages to almost do a barrel roll. He goes 360 around the world and has tons of damage right now. The same guys as WMD Martin. The suspension is finished, and he will try to scrap it back into the pits. And that's another victim of the fight for the podium. So both Tony Clifton and WMD Martin pretty much out of the contention for any good points. Well, that's a great information for Dudek. That's amazing information for him. Both of his championship rivals out of the fight for the win right now. Massive point for Dudek this race. He will gain lots in the championship standings. But as we are back with the podium runners, too fast following Tiglish Picklewickle, the Dane taking P2 after Tony Clifton has crashed. GC Rider that collided with him drops into P4. Doesn't look like the Brit had any damage that's noticeable. Oh, actually, I say that, but we see him struggling really much in the slower turn, and that is Tony Clifton out of the race. He has retired. No point to continue with that much of a damage. We saw how much WMD Martin took to drive out of the pits to get the car fixed. 2 minutes and 50 seconds behind Dudek right now, but he will get points for P8. I'm not sure if that's really wise of Tony Clifton to not even try to finish P9, P10. It's points. It's still points. Actually, let me check. For P9, it's 13 points, and if he finished P8, it's 16. So in the end of the season, it could all matter that that ship has sailed for Tony Clifton now, as he has retired. Back in the fight between Too Fast and Ticklish. Actually surprises me how quick Too Fast is today. Had the chance for a podium, well, not for a podium in the first race, but also the chance for a podium this race. Seems like GC Rider manages to drive despite the damage. So that's good news for him, good news for us, as he could join back the podium fight. Oh, I have talked so much. I have gotten so thirsty now. For now, seems as Ticklish is a little bit faster than Too Fast, but you also have to count that Too Fast has the slipstream to help him fight for the P2 spot. Dudek pretty much has the win in his pocket right now, unless he makes a mistake. That's the win for the taking. And big points haul for him. Well, the roles have swapped around. Dudek crushed in race 1, finished at the back of the grid. Now WMD Martin and Tony Clifton crash. WMD Martin finishes on the back of the grid. I don't think he can, to be honest, I don't think if he can catch to anyone being a lap down, despite having fixed that damage. Let's go back into this fight, as we don't really have anything else going on the circuit right now. Too Fast 4 times back behind the Ticklish Picklewickle as they cross turn 7. Interestingly enough, Ticklish Picklewickle and Too Fast going pretty much bang on the same pace. So we'll see how that battle unfolds, but it's there's nothing to watch right now. WMD Martin set the fastest sector 2 back from P8. Just shows he had the pace to possibly even win. But that chance taken away from him after that crash, with Nidalap and with Paul, the Bedra sandwich. Oh, Kiss has actually joined us in the chat. Hello. Kiss, can you tell us why have you retired? Why aren't you racing race 2? Also, hello, Sim Racing German kid. I think that is closest to first has been to Ticklish yet. As they are heading into turn 12, we are on lap 11 right now. Oh, and too fast, almost goes back into the goes back, almost goes into the back of the Dane. Has to brake really hard. Luckily manages to keep it going. Doesn't hit Ticklish, but drops almost 1 second behind the Dane. WMDI Martin sits another fastest sector 1. Pretty hard for him probably to set the fastest sector 1 without slipstream. But interestingly enough, he has the fastest sector 2 despite not having slipstream, I think. Well, actually he does. He's right behind Dudek, who is 1 lap ahead of him. Oh, you have to get up to work again in 5 hours. Oh, well, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. We obviously would have wanted you to see you race, but work is work. You have to get money for life somehow. All of us do. And WMDI Martin braking a little bit. Wants, I think, a little bit of space to have to possibly set the fastest lap. I'm not actually sure if we have a point for the fastest lap. Well, there is. So, well, that would be 1 point for him despite the shenanigans. Well, like I said earlier, in the end, every point could matter. Kierownik moves up to P5. I think he overtook Nidalap, so let's go back and watch them. Let's see now Nidalap in the prime spot to overtake Kierownik as they head into the start-finish straight. Obviously slipstream very potent, especially if you are in such close distance. Kierownik goes defensive, Nidalap will have to take the outside. Let's see. Nidalap goes quite slowly into turn 1. Kierownik keeps his P5 spot. And WMDI Martin has set the fastest sector 1. And he has done so, and because he has done so, he has caught up to Dudek, so leaving him the space to race was maybe was a good decision, but he hasn't taken enough space. And at this point, I think Dudek should just let him go, but that's not the case. Well, commentating is my job as the commentator, so I'm happy that I can commentate something on AR. I haven't done so in quite a long time. Obviously, the league not as much drivers as I would have wanted to see, but still we get really interesting racing, especially those last few rounds. The first, the American rounds at the start haven't been as interesting, but we have warmed up a little. We have used. I guess you guys have got used to the cars, and it's very interesting to watch now. Well, it's my pleasure that I can commentate it. Thank you for the kind words. And well, too fast. Dropping a little bit now. Well, obviously still 6 tenths behind, but he used to be closer to Ticklish. GC Rider, I think that damage could be impacting him, but he's also not that slow. Low 39s right now from him. High 39s, low 40s. So that's pretty much average race pace. I think he is holding on. Maybe would have been faster if not that hit with Tony Clifton. Dudek, well, a little bit slower than Ticklish right now, interestingly enough, and it's still half of the race to go. So if Ticklish and Too Fast catch up to Dudek, that could be interesting. And let's see WMDR Martin. He actually, I think, just let Dudek go, waited for a few seconds to have a attempt, finally a proper attempt to set the fastest lap. He's waited so long that he's right in front of Ticklish right now. Wow, great camera. Where is that? I think that's like one of the turns in sector 2, but well, oh, we're back into the normal cam. Kierovnik is making a pit stop now. I think that's the first pit stop of the proper pit round, let's say, since we had a few drivers already making pit stops for damage. Lord Arno is out of the pits with 17 seconds behind the leader. I'm wondering, was it that much damage, or did he go, I don't know, make a dinner for himself? At 19.13 seconds last lap, 19.13. Well, that's quite an impressive lap time. You don't even do those kinds of times for Nordschleife. Let's see now, Too Fast. Oh, WDR Martin doing rallycross in the background. The attempt to set the fastest lap isn't going quite as he would have wanted to. The gap isn't really diminishing, but Ticklish 1 second faster than Dudek last lap. Dudek now dropping 1 second in the first few turns. So Dudek not really consistent right now. He has to pick up the pace if he wants to keep the win and not get into a fight between himself, Ticklish, Pickowicko, and Too Fast. GC Rider actually, I think, catching up a little bit to the podium runners. A 38.9 last time round, same as Too Fast. WMDR Martin getting blue flagged again, and GC Rider goes onto the grass but manages to keep it going luckily. And Lord Arno had to pit once again. Wonder what happened there. And that GC Rider pretty much joined up into the fight already. And I think that could be time for Too Fast to try and make a move as they are starting their lap 17. This could be the attempt from Too Fast to take P2. He will take the inside. The PW doesn't go defensive, but Too Fast decides to stay behind. Interestingly enough, and both of them 40.6 and 40.5 respectively last lap. GC Rider setting fastest sector 3. So Ticklish and Too Fast not consistent either. Well, it doesn't look good for them because they definitely have the pace to catch up to do that, but they can't do it right now. And well, interesting sight behind WMDR Martin, one lap down, and right behind him is GC Rider, who is actually on the lead lap. I'm not sure what happened there, but the car behind just teleported on the map. That's not the lap. Maybe that was a lag or something, or netcode, I don't know, but that was interesting. WMDR Martin gets out of the way, lets his teammate go. Whoa, probably try to set the quickest lap once again. And yes, that is GC Rider back into the podium fight. Quite a long overdue to the due to the crash with Tony Clifton, but he's back, and he's back with the fastest lap, 1:38.1. That is mashing WMDR Martin's pole position lap. So GC Rider's on the run. He is definitely on the pace to maybe even snatch the win away. If he keeps the current pace, he can catch up to Dudek. He would have to drive 1 second quicker than him every lap to try to catch up to him before the race ends. GC Rider now goes down the inside of Too Fast, and he is onto the podium. He is third right now. So WMDR Martin unsuccessful with his fastest lap attempt, but his teammate does it for him. His teammate takes the fastest lap. Lord Arno has a time penalty for pit lane violation, and interestingly enough, he is back in the box in the pit lane. Too Fast has a penalty for track limits. That is 1 second penalty, and Lord Arno with 50 seconds. And GC Rider making a move on Too Fast last lap. Now pulls alongside Ticklish, and I think he will be making a move for P2. Well, GC Rider is the quickest car on track right now. He can still fight for the win. He pulls alongside, goes down the inside, and takes P2 away from TPW. So 7 seconds is the gap. If he still keeps driving 1.5 seconds quicker each lap, then he can pretty much catch Dudek in 5 laps, maybe 6 including the fight. So everything is still on the cards. GC Rider can still take the victory, Dudek can still pick up the pace and keep the lead. Let's see how it unfolds. Ticklish actually still on the back of GC Rider, as is Too Fast on the back of Ticklish. So either GC Rider has slowed down or those two have picked up the pace as well. It looks to me as Too Fast had to lift there a little bit because Ticklish took a slower line. But let's see the lap times on lap 19. Dudek 39.9. He has crossed the line a long time ago. 39.2 from GC Rider, but still quicker than Dudek. Ticklish 140.0 and Too Fast 39.8. So DC Rider actually dropping a little bit in pace, but the gap is down under 6 seconds. It seems as Dudek had to make some mistake this lap, since the gap is so small right now. I think the smallest it's ever been yet. Since a long time. And the gap down into 5 seconds. DC Rider actually has a big moment, a big tank slapper right there on the exit of turn 7 that allows Ticklish to get on the back of him. Ticklish actually improving his personal best sector 2 and overtaking DC Rider. Not good news for the Brit. He would have wanted to be setting faster lap times, trying to get closer and closer to Dudek, but the squabble will now make him lose time. But he actually pulls into the pit lane with Ticklish. Too fast stays out on circuit. The Dane and the Brit clear the mandatory pit stops after Needle Up. I think it was Needle Up first who was in, or was it Paul? I think it was Paul actually. Too fast, little over 6 seconds behind Dudek. 6 laps to go. I'm not sure if DC Rider can catch up. Unless Dudek has a really wrong pit stops and drops off if his pace really goes down in those upcoming laps. I think it could be a win for Dudek the pole. Needle Up actually making a pit stop now, so it was Paul who first made a stop. And Ticklish and DC Rider out of the pits. Ticklish a little bit of a faster stop than DC Rider. He is now 2 seconds ahead of the British driver. Too fast actually dropping. He is much slower than Dudek on this lap, surprisingly. Dudek not pitting yet. Too fast actually pulls into the pit lane on this lap. So we'll see if the undercut pays off for the pack behind Dudek. I'm not sure if the driver has changed tires here, so I don't think it makes much of a difference. But we've seen in instances before where undercuts have actually worked. So we'll see. We will live and see in the future how it unfolds. But Dudek, he isn't really quick. He is doing 140.2 last lap, and we saw right a few seconds ago that he is positive on his delta, which means he will go even slower this lap. And the gap to Ticklish, who is net P2 right now, is 43 seconds. So the pit stop should take around 37 seconds. If you go faster on the pit stop, if Dudek goes faster on the pit stop, that means I think he will take the win. Let's see if this is the lap. That is indeed the case. Dudek the pole pulls into the pit lane, but let's go back to DC Rider and Ticklish Pikawickle, because DC Rider dropped 2 seconds behind Ticklish after the round of pit stops. But he now goes down the inside into turn 7 and retakes his second place on the grid. But Ticklish isn't done yet. DC Rider with a tank slapper out of turn 7 once again. He slides around the circuit. Now they knock off the cone. Obviously, GC Rider had that incident with the bollard. I'm not sure was it early race 2 or was it in race 1. I think it was early in race 2. He was driving with the bollard around the circuit for pretty much 1 or 2 laps. But that's in the past now. He has knocked the bollard off. Dudek the Pole already cleared his pit stop. He is now driving the pit lane, which is quite long. Remember, we have the Indy 500 here. Many drivers taking place in that event, so obviously a long pit lane is mandatory. Dudek drives out of the pit lane, and we will see after turn 1, turn 2, what is the gap. Because I think Dudek actually gained some time. That is indeed the case. 7.5 seconds of a gap right now. So unless Dudek makes a mistake, unless Dudek spins, crashes or whatever, he has the net victory. It doesn't look like the drivers behind him have the pace to catch him up. Also, the overcut actually better in that instance. GC Rider and Ticklish Pickle pitting early, that hasn't benefited them. Too fast also, so surprisingly now 10 seconds behind Ticklish. Something had to happen to him because he was fighting for the podium. Now 11 seconds away from the top 3 spots. Let's go back to GC Rider fighting with Ticklish. Well, nothing going on there right now. GC Rider is pretty much quicker than Ticklish. The gap now down into 6 seconds. Dudek not having the outlap of his dreams, really. If he dreams about the outlaps. And actually, GC Rider with a time penalty right now. 11 seconds of a penalty, so that is... Well, that's victory dreams over for GC Rider. He will probably also drop 1 or 2 spots, so P3 I think is the most he can do right now. That is not good news for GC Rider, and that is good news for Dudek, because that's pretty much the win. Guaranteed the win, shipped and sailed to him right now. Oh, and GC Rider having a big slide into turn 7. Ticklish Pickle following behind him. Even if he doesn't overtake the Brit on track. Oh, and GC Rider with a big slide, and he spins. That's Ticklish Pickle up into P2. Too fast, possibly overtaking him as well. No, I don't think that's the case, but due to the penalty, that could mean Too Fast could possibly take the podium. Let me see the standings quickly. Too Fast P3 in the Silverstone feature race. That could be another podium for him, because he is 3 seconds behind Too Fast right. He's 3 seconds behind GC Rider right now. Also remember, GC Rider has 11 seconds of a time penalty. So unless something happens to Too Fast, unless GC Rider goes supersonic mode, that is podium for Too Fast. And Ticklish Pickle calmly cruising in P2. He doesn't really have the pace to catch up to Dudek. So I think he is pretty much content with the podium finish. Oh, I have to do my daily Duolingo. Yep, I will do it after the race. And Lord Arno back in the pit lane. I'm wondering what is going on with him. He had quite a strong run P4 in race 1. Now 20 minutes behind. Well, 18 actually. Not a dream home race for Lord Arno. Actually one of home races, because we already had a Sonoma round and we also had the preseason round on Willow Springs. And then we had Long Beach. So we went from shore to, well, not shore, but pretty close to the other shore. Unless I'm mistaking the cities. So Dudek started lap 26 a few seconds ago. He has nothing to worry about. It is actually, if he manages to keep it on the circuit, that is his second win. But let's keep watching, because it's still 1.5 laps pretty much to go. Still everything can happen. Obviously no one is perfect. Maybe someone makes a mistake. Maybe there is a little bit of a shake-up in the positions. I think that's WMD Martin going wide again. Yes, that's WMD Martin. P8 for him. Well, loses to Dudek but gains to Tony Clifton, because Tony decided to just finish his race early after that crash. WMD Martin decided otherwise. He decided to keep going after his crash. And remember, WMD Martin on the controller, and he has won race 1. He is also the championship leader right now, so quite impressive for a controller driver, I would say. Oh, another camera bug. And Dudek already on the last lap. He is cruising home to take the victory. Only one lap to go for him. 0-4-20 delta. Well, I don't smoke, maybe you smoke, but I never tried, so... So let's go with on board with Dudek for the last lap of the race. Our leader, and I think we can already say our winner in a race, in the feature race. I literally don't remember anything from the Silverstone round. Like, Lord Arno took victory in race 1 on Silverstone. I don't remember that. Also, Too Fast took podium, that I remember. And well, it's another podium for him today. And Dudek the pole crosses turn 14. Dominant display today, despite not being as quick as somewhere for some time. And Dudek wins the feature race on Indianapolis. And he's back in the title fight. Ticklish Picklewickle crosses the line in P2. Calm, composed, and consistent display from the Dane gets him another podium. GC Rider crosses the line in 3rd, but he will be demoted to 4th after his time penalty. Too Fast crosses the line and takes his 2nd podium of the season. Actually, GC Rider demoted to 5th, which means Kierownik takes P4. Then we have Nidalap in P7 comes Paul. WMD Martin crashed again and finishes 8th. Still keeps his championship lead though. Lord Arno will finish P9 with that 18-minute gap. Well, he hasn't come to a finish yet, but yes, he finishes with 18 minutes behind the leader. Oh, Dudek tries to go for. I think that's WMD Martin. Tries to go and crash into him, but yes, that is feature race done and dusted. Stay with us. We still possibly have some interviews with the drivers coming. So don't leave the stream yet. Dudek the Pole takes the victory in the feature race. Ticklish Picklewickle comes second. Too Fast comes in third place finish this season for the Dutch driver. Kierovny comes fourth. Strong display for the 8 Stars team. GC Rider is fifth after the time penalty. Then we have Nidalap. His Bedra teammate Paul finishes seventh. WMD Martin eighth after the crash. Lord Arno ninth, and Tony Clifton does not finish after crashing himself as well. Oh, Lord Arno classified as 2.5 minutes of a gap, but we obviously know that is not true. So yeah, so I started the intro by an accident. That is race 2 over. We should be getting someone for an interview, and we have Dudek the Poe already. Uh, so let's get him in. So hello, Dudek. Another great victory for you. Not really lucky lap one once again in race one, but great display, dominant display in race two. Tell me how it looked from your perspective.
Yeah, it kind of felt a bit like a carbon copy of Sonoma Raceway, where basically I started from the front of the grid and pretty much just led from there. I tried to maintain a decent gap, so I don't have pressure, just tried to match the same pace as the guys behind and waited till they all pitted before I pitted.
Yep, in race two you had a great start, kept pretty much 3 seconds of a gap to the pack behind you. They squabbled. Tony Clifton and WMD Martin crashed. Pretty much your two main rivals. GC Rider got a penalty, and well, you had a clear path to victory.
Yeah, pretty much. Just didn't push. I knew I wasn't going to get the fastest lap since I didn't have the slipstream, so I just wanted to maintain a steady pace. So yeah.
Yep. And well, before this round, you had 72 points of a gap. That gap not really decreasing this round since well, you took victory, but race one, you finished pretty much in the same spot as WMD Martin did in race one. But well, we still have a round to go. I think you. Do you think you could still take the victory in the overall standings? Because I'm not sure, but I think it's mathematically still possible.
Yeah, it's obviously still possible, but I definitely think it's highly unlikely. If I'm going for a championship position, if I were to finish maybe second, I would be really chuffed with that. But yeah, it's not looking very promising for the win, but I will still, try and go into the last race and still finish either with podiums or wins. So my strategy will stay the same.
Yes, I think considering how unlucky you were this season, I think the top three, top two in the standing would still be a great result.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I've had quite a few races where I haven't been on the lucky side. Sometimes just a racing incident, sometimes my own fault, but yeah, for sure. It's still been a great season. Still had some fun battles. So yeah.
Exactly. Well, really fun watching this season as well. To be honest, saying from the commentator's perspective, great fights in the front, and hopefully we get great fights as well in the last race. So thank you for the interview. Well, and good luck for the last round of the season.
Thank you. Have a good one, mate.
Yeah. Goodbye.
See you.
I'm still quite bad with goodbyes. I have noticed, but I still don't know how to say goodbye to the drivers. But we will get WMD and Martin in. So, WMD Martin, hello, our resident controller driver. Great display in race one. Quite a long and hefty battle with Tony Clifton, but you have managed to win the race. Uh, show me about it.
Yeah, I mean, race one was great. I'm not entirely sure, but that might have been my first ever AOR pole position, so I was pretty happy with that.
Oh well, I don't keep the records, so I can't say, but that's possible. Well, race two, not so lucky. You crashed with Paul and with Nidalap. Uh, then you managed to keep it going. You fixed the car and finished in P8. Well,
Oh,
Tony retired. Yeah, go on.
yeah, well, first about race one, it was extremely difficult to like maintain position because the slipstream is extremely powerful on this track. So both Idano and Tony were stuck to me like glue until I think Idano had a moment on the grass and then he lost touch with us. And other than that, it was a really tense fight with Tony. Had a little bit of rubbing sometimes, but no damage on either side, so it was all fun and fair. And was definitely really happy to end up winning that one because I made a lot of mistakes in that race. I'd say like one of the biggest ones was at the end of the long straight on the back straight into the braking zone. I braked with my right wheels on the curb, which sent my car into a complete half spin. But luckily there's like an alternative layout with slightly more rounded corners, so my car like half spun onto that, so I barely lost any time.
Also,
Yeah.
uh, tell me a little bit about the I think you were trying to get the fastest lap. You
Yeah,
let
so
Dudek go.
race two
You
was quite crazy. I was really looking forward to it too because it's basically twice the length, and I was expecting a massive slipstream fest, but then I just get absolutely shafted in turn one
I saw
because
you like giving Dudek a few seconds of space. Then I go back to your view, and you are right on the back of him before turn 7. So
yeah, well, I'll mention more about that in like just a second. But the actual crash, like someone had spun right in front of me, and I was able to like brake in time and avoid the incident. But the person behind me, who arguably should have had more time to avoid that, just slammed straight into the back of me and gave me like 100 suspension damage on the front suspension and like 90 on the rear. So I was in the pits for an absolute age. I was like 2 or 3 laps down when I came out of there.
yep,
But
you were sandwiched by the Bedra guys.
yeah, it was very unfortunate. But since there was basically no chance at all of gaining any more positions after that, I decided to like at least try and go for fastest lap. So I came out of the pits like slightly ahead of Dudek, and I was pulling away. So I thought I'd try and get into a slipstream. But in the first few attempts, I kept on getting too close to him. Like I was catching him too much. So then I would try to like give him a bit more space. But then once I gave him more space, then Ticklish behind started getting into my slipstream. So I decided to let them through. And then behind me was my teammate, and he'd kind of dropped off of the Ticklish pack. So I ended up like trying to help him a little bit by giving him slipstream to let him rejoin the group, which he ended up doing. And then I just kind of tried to get into some more slipstream, trying to set a better lap. But ironically, I think my teammate actually got the fastest lap himself when I gave
Yep,
him the slipstream. So
if he has matched your pole position time, he did a 1:38.1. So well,
yeah, and it's very ironic that I was trying for the whole race
yeah,
to get that lap, but I probably gave it to him. But definitely really well done by him because he was pretty much immediately on the pace and he'd done almost no practice whatsoever. So I was massively impressed by that. But
yep, he was really quick. He would have definitely got a podium in race 2, but he had 11 seconds of a penalty, so he was demoted to
yeah, so
P5
something happened
sadly.
in the pit lane, but I'm not quite sure what. But yeah, I'd say aside from the failed attempt at setting the fastest lap, it was interesting to make some of the top guys nervous by like tailgating them or just taunting them with words. It was quite interesting.
Since I'm mostly a blue flag racer, I know the feeling. To make the guys in front of you stressed. So yeah. Thank you for coming in for the interview, and well, good luck for the last round of the season. See you.
Thanks. See ya.
So that was WMDM Martin, our current standings leader. championship leader. We still have Ticklish Picklewickle to go, so let's get him in. So TPW, our coordinator, and well, strong showing from you today. You kept it consistent, you kept it calm and composed, and you had P4 and second place in race 2. Tell me about it.
Yeah, actually, I have the results right here. I'm pretty sure it was a P3 and a P2.
Oh, well, it's my mistake then, excuse me.
Ah, no worries, no worries.
Let me check, actually. Oh, well, the stream doesn't want to load, but if it was P3 and P2, then excuse me. You had a quite a long battle with Too Fast in race 2, but you managed to keep it in front. And you also had the potential to catch not GC Rider, Dudek. Well, the gap was stumbling between 7 and 5 seconds, but what you guys didn't manage to do it. Well, can you maybe break down race 2 for us?
Yeah, sure. I mean, first of all, both races were great. I really enjoyed it. 2 podiums is absolutely awesome. But yeah, I had quite a lot of battles. I was very lucky to escape pretty early on in the race. Unfortunately, I think Martin was taken out by it, but
Yep,
one of
Tony
the
Clifton was taken out as well
yeah
later.
one of the Badura guys spun in turn 1, I think, and from my at least like I'm racing in cockpit and I'm racing with a pretty low field of view, so I didn't really have a lot of time to react to it. But fortunately, I was lucky enough to have placed my car on the outside of the track because I was racing side by side with Martin. But then unfortunately, the car on the inside was just parked there, and then he was collected. But so yeah, I was very lucky to escape that one. And then it was just kind of on from there. I had some good battles throughout, and I think I managed to get up to like P3, I want to say. And then I was sitting in P2 for a long time until GC Raider caught up to us. Me and Too Fast, I believe. Too Fast was kind of, as you said, he was just kind of sitting behind me all the time, and he was kind of keeping me on my toes because yeah, I definitely had to concentrate a bit more, and I was getting a little bit distracted by him in my mirror. But yeah, so he was kind of always keeping me honest. And then obviously GC Raider caught up to us, and he actually managed to overtake both of us quite rapidly. I think he told me he was on the stable setup, which for some reason it's like it's always the case that the loose setup has more top speed than the stable setup, but apparently not in this car. Apparently the stable setup has more top speed, so he was just able to fly past us in the slipstream once he was kind of um, in that like 1.2 seconds behind us. So and yeah, then I kind of followed him for a long time, GC Raider, and we actually, as you said, we caught up to Dudek kind of while we were battling. Because I think the slipstream is really really strong on this track with the long straights and stuff like that. So um, yeah, and then I think unfortunately when we pitted, kind of quarters on through the race, me and GC Raider pitted on the same lap, and I think he missed his pit box, and he also accidentally double tapped his pit limiter, so he went into the pits with too much speed.
Oh, that's why he
Uh,
had the penalty.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, a 10-second penalty is quite severe, so he can definitely go to the stewage with that and get it reduced at least to a little bit more of a reasonable penalty.
So possible we can get Rishi Rider back on the podium or maybe back in P4 because he got classified in P5. Oh, you pretty much self-explained the entire race. I don't know if I have anything more to ask you. With Rishi Rider, interestingly enough, WMD and Martin said Rishi Rider came into the race without any practice and he also took the stable setup, but from what I noticed, he his car wasn't really stable. He also spun in the finishing laps of race 2, so that's really interesting to me.
Yeah, we were kind of like a little small talking about it during or at least before the race. That for some reason the stable was actually more loose than the loose, and obviously he kind of demonstrated that in front of me spinning out. So I think he would have kept the P2. I mean, of course, not with the 10-second penalty, but he would have like stayed in front of me, like for position on track in P2 if he hadn't spun. So lucky for me that he spun, but I'll take all the positions I can get. So, but yeah, I think the stable setup is a little bit more is it's less controllable, but it's faster, which kind of makes sense in a way. So it is a bit of a gamble to go for the setup. You can definitely go faster, but it comes with the risk of you potentially spinning and losing some positions.
Yep. So, well, quite a long monologue there. Like I said earlier, I don't think I have any more questions. Thank you for coming in for the interview. And well, good luck for the last round.
Thank you very much.
Yep. So see you next time. See you next week.
Yes, yeah.
Good night. So that's all interview done and dusted. And that's us concluding with the stream, I think. Thank you for joining me for the race. For the 2 races. Great racing today. Great fights for the win in race 1. Great fights for the podium in race 2. Hopefully we get much more of it in the last round. That's upcoming next week. We are racing in Brandsatch. Yes, we are racing in Brandsatch. Let me see. We have rain for qualifying. So that's another factor that we have to add in that will make it even more interesting, possibly get the pack even closer. Obviously, some drivers quicker in the race, rain, some quicker in the dry. So be sure to join me next week. We should also have the conclusion of the championship standings. Obviously, WMDR Martin still fighting Tony Clifton for the win in the championship standings. So be sure to tune in next week, the same hour, 9 p.m. CET, 8 p.m. GMT. We are racing on Brands Hatch next time round. And thank you for joining me this evening. Have a good night and see you next time.